Diana here doing some live behind the scenes testing. So not any planned content, just some behind the scenes stuff. Decided to test it out live. Usually I'll do some kind of unlisted stream or something like that, just to kind of test out a bunch of different features. But to get the full effect, I do have to actually stream the content just to see exactly in operation how well it's going to work. So right now, what I am testing is the ability to have two Canon M50's go live. So I have one up here, and then I have this one that's down here, which is separate from that one. And so I do some beta testing for EcammLive, so I have access to some really cool stuff. So something else that they have added is the ability to kind of zoom in if you want. You can zoom back out or zoom all the way out, which is really neat. So I'm trying this stuff out. It's not available yet, but like I said, a little behind the scenes, this the kind of stuff that I do. And I also wanted to test if there are any delays if you have multiple cameras hooked in or whatever the case is. So like this one, I have it zoomed. Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool, just to kind of test that out. Let's see here. So you could do it on both of them. Okay, that's pretty neat. Michael Simmons, what is up? So right now, like I said, I'm testing two Canon M50's, beta tester for EcammLive, so I get access to some different stuff. Let me know if the audio sync is where it should be. So something else, like I said, I was testing, is they have where you can zoom in. It's a digital zoom or what have you, but you can zoom in and then you can zoom out until you zoom all the way out. And bring it back in. So you turn it on, turn it off if you want to punch in for better effect, and then you talk in and keep talking, and then you punch in if you want it for it, like, you know, as if you were doing edited, hit the microphone, as if you were doing edited content. And then two, something else that's pretty neat with EcammLive too is I can have two of these cameras on the same thing. So far as I can tell, it's just a little bit of a characteristic difference between the Yongnuo lens that seems a bit warmer than the regular kit lens. Could be the way it's just sitting or whatever, I don't know. But if you were doing a interview or something like that, or you can do this kind, if that is depending on how somebody may prefer it or what have you. Or you can do it this way and have a frame, some kind of frame or something. I thought I had some, but it's just all about testing stuff, especially doing this live streaming series on the channel. And you still have the logo up there and all of that stuff. Or if you had multiple people in a room or something like that. Honestly, I'm testing it too for live podcasting. So if you wanted to, it cuts down and it minimizes from being able to or having to do any kind of editing in post. So if you had, you know, a second person, like if this is my camera and this is the second person, whomever it is or whatever, you want to punch in for effect, you could, and then you can come back out, bring it back to two people, all of that stuff. They even have some really neat stuff. Like I said, some of the stuff is not available, especially what I'm doing right now is not available necessarily for everyone. But they have this green screen effect. So if I had a green screen, let me go back to myself real quick. This one. let's see here. I don't have a green overlay behind me or whatever, but if it was chroma keyed properly, you would be able to see the actual green screen behind me, and then you still be able to see me clearly. So that's something that they added, which is really cool. It comes out really clean too, so that's something that's super neat. Yeah, other than that, it's pretty cool. And I want to say I had some other stuff that I wanted to test. Like I said, basically I'm testing this for, I want to definitely test it for a podcast setup and see how well that works. Getting some ideas here. I want to say I had some backgrounds. L. Sean, what does it does? Give me 1 second. So I want to try something real quick. Let me do this. Oh, I would have to cut the background out. Because I know, like when I'm testing StreamYard, I can add in a background that'll fill in, so that those people are like surrounded, but I'd have to cut out those circles, those parts that are still pink in the middle of those boxes, and then ideally the 2 people would be framed, but the framing is different from EcammLive to StreamYard, so the other one's set up for StreamYard. And then like you can do frames for if you wanted to do something like this kind of a setup, or what have you. And then, like I was saying, it has this cool zoom, pan, tilt, and all that stuff. So I could zoom in uncomfortably close or zoom out like I'm disappearing. And I'll see you guys next week. So, or if you know how, if you're editing a video and you're making a point and you're like, yeah, and I hate when people do this and da-da-da-da-da, and you bring it back out. So that's the kind of stuff that it's like, it's always about adding stuff that makes it easier and cleaner and more efficient to, like, it's like getting your live streams now, especially like, so right now is the National Association of Broadcasters in Las Vegas going on, so this NAB conference or whatever. And so it's a lot of live streaming stuff going on right now, and I keep talking about that and keep talking about it, kind of doing the mini series right now. Probably got like 1 or 2 more videos left in this series, and then I'll move on to the next one. But the biggest thing is just like sharing stuff like this that helps to make sure that your content is more efficient. You can do stuff like this where you can add in a brand overlay and test out some different stuff. So let me jump to the comments real quick. Michael Simmons saying that's cool. Sean saying that's cool. Can you plug in an extra keyboard and color shortcut buttons to have a tactile way to switch in cameras angles? So some people that I know use Switcher Studios. Is it Switcher Studios or no? It's Elgato. The same people that do the Elgato EcammLive. They use the they have a little keyboard thing, like where it's like buttons or whatever, but similar to what you are talking about. It's kind of like a switcher thing. It will allow for you to be able to click on a button and pull up certain stuff and all of that. That's the only one that I know of that's been the most efficient and simplest way. So you can still have, like, I have a mouse, wireless mouse and keyboard and all that stuff to kind of help with that. But if you wanted to add in something like that. I know they do have stuff like that. So it's like, instead of me having to click on it to kind of punch in for effect and pull back out, or if it's, this is person A, this is person B, I can either switch to them, or I can put both of us on the screen. You can, I think you can set it up. And one of my friends, Eileen Smith, who, like I said, I was working on this particular background to see if that's something I might want to use for this type of live streaming setup, to have her on one side, me on the other side, or whatever. She has one, and she uses it for different stuff in her stream. So you can key it to do whatever and all that extra kind of stuff. And he said, please do the chroma key one more time. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna switch to the camera. You have to imagine all of the stuff that's in the background would be a green screen. And so if it was something that was green back there, what would happen is, as you start to see this picture come in, minus me actually fading out, I would stay clear like I am right now, because it's well tested. Like I said, I just don't have a green screen or nothing. And then you increase the transparency of it for as much as you want to, and then you actually stay in the, now I look like a ghost. So, but you would actually stay in all of that extra stuff. You see the fuzziness, all that stuff is very clean. And then they have like a few ones that are loaded in from a castle. So if you wanted to play around and, you know, do jokes or something like that, that's available. They have one that's just simple, like bricks. And then you can add in your own stuff. You have a modern home background. So all those are come preloaded. Not everything is in the... not everything is included. So like I said, a lot of this stuff is not available yet. Some of these things are through EcammLive, but not everything. So Ronaldo Owens saying, hey, my sister, I just wanted to say great job. I will definitely continue to follow you. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you so much. We got Bobby World in the house saying, hello, Diana. Hello, Bobby. Good to see you. And it says, so glad I caught you today. Bringing attention to your point. Got it. Yeah. So it's just like that zoom in and punch in and all of that stuff. Yep. So pretty cool things. Like, and that's how, when I'm getting ready to do my live end card and I switch it over to this, so that I'm not having to say, okay, and then you click right here or over here. Click right here if you want to do this on this first video, and then click right here if you want to do that video. I can literally feed in what my live end screen is to say up the other way. Wait, let me get this right. Okay, so now, because that was something else that they added, so I know where to point and where to look. So I can say, you know, right over here, up next is another video on the 5 best tips for live streaming or something like that with the Canon M50, which sounds like a good video. I might do that one. But, you know, I can actually have something up like a regular video would, without having to, you know, do anything else. Even like from my pre-show intro and all. So usually, like, you hear the music and all of that stuff or whatever. I have this timer that, depending on what time I need or whatever, I can change this image if I want to. And then, let me mute this again, bring that music back up 1 second. And then bring it back to me, and that's how I usually start the show. So it's just about increasing that level of professionalism so that you have a flawless and seamless live stream, instead of just, you know, it just being the bare bones flip back and forth between this person and that person, like how Google Hangouts, and then you can't bring comments up. So, you know, if I wanted to highlight somebody, like getting more super chats on the channel. So thank you for those that have contributed. I definitely appreciate that. Putting that towards the new MacBook fund. And so, especially as EcammLive continues to increase stuff. So, you know, it's like you don't have those features like you do with like here, you don't have the like Google Hangouts, Facebook, they don't have it. I was seeing today, and I'm trying to pull it back up on my phone. Oh, I wish I had my what's the name in here. But even with, you know what? So one, pause for the calls. Give you a little hold time music. Give me like 3 seconds because I want to hook this iPhone up, and I want to try that. So real quick, 1 second. Don't leave. I shall return. Alrighty, 2 shakes and a lamb's tail, and I have returned. So, only thing with the MacBook, I have one of the older ones on purpose because they have the ports, and then I have a USB 3.0 dongle that kind of helps me to, actually, I can show y'all that since I'm using 2 M50's now. So this one I have just on the little Joby Gorilla Pod, and, okay, where am I going? There we go. So like I have my little 3.0 dongle or whatever. So yeah, that's what I have been using. And so even like I can switch, so like being able to hook it in via USB, I can switch and do a bunch of stuff. But even like just being able to do that, having a camera, which you can do it with a web camera too. So I could take the web camera down and use that, a bunch of other stuff. Or like I say, you got 2, this kind of side by side and all that good stuff. Good friends to TG, I'm guessing is it to go, LLC, saying hello, what's hello, good to see you. I always see your comments, I appreciate them greatly. Don Moody, what's going on? Good day, good to see you. I'm glad that you are here, just playing around with 2 M50's, and I just went and got my iPhone that was gifted to me. I'm still heartily believing that I will be gifted a MacBook Pro. But I was just showing some of the new stuff. So I'm a beta tester for EcammLive, and we get access to some new and great things. And so one of the things that we got was, like, as you saw, it just punched in. We can zoom in uncomfortably close, and I can move that around. So if I wanted to zoom in to back there, you know, and show you something that was on the bookshelf, then, you know, that's a pretty cool feature if I wanted to do that. And then I could punch it back out and bring it back to myself and be like, okay, yeah, and that book right there, X, Y, and Z, and then bring it back to myself if I wanted to. And then, like I said, some of the green screen effects, it does a good job. I just don't have a green screen, obviously. And so it fades in and fades back out. But if you had a green screen, it'd be really good. Like, you don't see that greenish hue and outline and all of that stuff. So that's pretty cool. Let me see if I can cut this phone on here. So let's see here. Good friends saying Ecamm versus Elgato Stream Deck. That's what it's called, the Elgato Stream Deck, isn't it? For the buttons or whatever. Or is it the is that their? No, I think it's called the Stream Deck. Is whichever the one is with the buttons. I think that's right. But I'll look it up real quick. So I have yet another USB thingy baba here. So I want to see if somehow I can plug in this phone. So I'll probably undo this second M50 real quick and just move this out the way for the moment. Oh, I guess it's fine right here. And then one of the things I like about EcammLive is also the ability to plug in an iPhone, because it's all like Mac integrated and stuff like that, which is why I wanted one. Because my regular phone, I'm cool with it being what it is, but let's see here. Let's give y'all some sneak peeks of this is what I do behind the scenes. So good friends to go, you're clarifying saying Ecamm versus Elgato Stream Deck, said yes, the one with the buttons. Yeah. So the thing with the buttons, it's like clear buttons or whatever. Yeah, that's the Stream Deck. And so that's the thing that you could use to already set up if you wanted it to be, you know, like where you click a button, click one of those buttons and it punches into, you know, the bookshelf or whatever angle that you wanted, or website or video or something like that. Or, you know, you can zoom back out here, you know, or whatever the case is. You zoom in, move it around if you wanted to. Zoom in and put yourself to the rule of thirds if you had something else you wanted to pop up on the screen. Or like I said, punch in for effect, or zoom back out, you know, that kind of stuff. And then something cool that EcammLive does is give you the ability to show the iPhone. So I can show, like if I'm wanting to do live tutorials, and like I said, it's all about just like leveling up the live stream so you can do more higher quality streams without, without having to worry about anything. And I think even you can pick up the audio maybe, but I'm not fully sure or whatever. So this is StreamYard because I was testing some mobile stuff that they have, and you get all that stuff real time in the same way that, you know, I created a frame for if I wanted to add on a background with a guest or something like that. I could essentially do the same thing for the phone. And so instead of it being me, I could be doing a tutorial on my phone and just punch in and say, you know, hey, you can do this and blah, blah, blah. And then if you want to go to whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm scrolling in real time and I can zoom in real time and all of that. And then when I'm ready to come back to the content, I can do what I want and say this and that, whatever, and punch in as if I'm, you know, having something serious to say and zoom back out or whatever, just to kind of keep the same attention that you would for whatever, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. It just really give you more customization for your specific content or what you're doing. So if I wanted to do some kind of live tutorial and something like that, you drastically increase the quality of your streams without having to worry about anything. So like I've been studying Patreon recently, so I can say, yeah, so in, you know, today's stream I'm talking about whatever, dealing with Patreon, and let's go to this article that I wanted to show you. And then, you know, I can go over here on my phone and just show you, like, you know, the, oh, no thanks. Show you the 6 membership-based business models you can use on Patreon. And get that out the way and go through and be like, yeah, so this article by such and such was saying that, you know, obviously the first thing, most important thing is community model and blah, blah, blah. And then come back to me and all of that. And when I'm done and I'm ready to wrap up the stream, then I can say, and hey, if you enjoyed today's video, here's another video on whatever, dealing with Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Like you can keep the interest going, even down to being able to add in my own live intro where I'm saying, you know, and hey, X, Y, and Z, whatever. And I'm going to be talking about this coming. And then go right back into the content. So you essentially have all of the stuff that you need to do any kind of content that you want, whether it's for fun, whether it's educational, whether it is some kind of tutorial, really making it super easy and seamless for you to be able to do whatever you want and add in anything else that you wanted. I'm running out of USB ports, so I probably need to get a bigger USB hub or something like that. But even more than that, so my MacBook is closed. It's like in a hub type position, but I can even add in that camera, which is just the screen of the keyboard or whatever, but that camera is still on. So I could have multiple things up at one time and then go back to that if I wanted to. And when I'm done with the phone, bring it back to me, punch in for effect, and then, you know, move on. So there you go. So that's my behind the scenes test. So far, so good. I like what I'm seeing. Everything looks great. A lot of this stuff is new, just being added today. So if you guys have any quick questions before I head on out, let me know. But yeah, So pretty cool. I really like all the different stuff they have where you could, let me try something real quick. I'm just noticing something with the green screen thing. Oh, they even got the fake bokeh. So you can not only have where you have the green screen on there, but it had a button on there that said blur background. So you can be on the screen like this, where your person looks this way, and then you have that image, whatever your image is, and even if your camera can't have background blur, you can add in that fake bokeh, because essentially, like, that's almost equivalent to the background blur behind me. Like, look at that one, and then that's almost the same. So I'm at f4.0 on this Yongnuo lens, this 35mm. So pretty good background blur for that, but essentially the same black background blur. So that's pretty cool. And then if you want to play a joke and be like, I'm disappearing. I need coffee. That's where I'm at today. All right, so I did my 2 Canon M50 tests. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Got a chance to see some of the behind the scene tests and stuff that I do. And they have it now where you don't even need any third-party programs. You don't need any Elgato cam links. You don't need any of that stuff. I just literally plugged in that other M50 real quick, and I'm right back to 2 cameras. Whereas before I was using my phone, done with the phone, come back to me, plug in the other camera, and keep it moving. So a lot of great options that I'm seeing, a lot of great things that are becoming available with EcammLive. They are absolutely my favorite company. I've still been testing out some stuff with StreamYard. If you don't have a Mac, they are starting to implement a lot of great things. I'm still having a delay issue when I want to use my M50 to StreamYard. If you just want to keep it simple, use your web camera or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. I did literally streamed with my web camera for a few years now, so just now it's streaming with the camera. So it's nothing wrong with that. Start with that and move on. But yeah, so unless you guys have any questions, any final thoughts, that's all there is. There is no more. M50's working great. Yeah, that works really good. Crop in and do it that way. Tis working. Tis working. All right. Well, no questions, no concerns, no comments. We shall see y'all on the next one.